Hi vacation rental owner or manager. Today I'm going to show you how I would improve some spaces in real life so that the owners can make more money. Hi vacation rental owner, welcome to Step Up Your STR, the show all about decorating vacation rentals so that you can make max revenue in your business. I'm Kara Shimizu, and I've designed over 40 short-term rentals, all of which charge in the top 10% of their area competitors and make up to 153% more after working with me. So today is one of a series that I'm doing, and it's all for you. I'm going to go over a couple of spaces for 2 listeners and let them know what I recommend changing so that they're able to get more bookings and charge more for their rental. If you'd like to have your space assessed here online, it's free to you. I'll leave the link to contact me about it in the description. Okay, I'm going to try to share my screen. All right, my desktop is fairly messy, but I am going to share it anyway. Okay, here we are in the first space. Now, if you're listening to this podcast, I am going to try to explain what I see on the screen to give you an idea. However, I also video record this podcast, and you can see this on, I think Spotify has the ability, probably Apple Podcast does. You can also definitely see me doing this assessment online at YouTube, at my YouTube channel, and I'll leave the link for that in the description. You can find me there at VR Decor Kara. So it's my first name, Kara, C as in Charlie, C-A-R-A, and VR as in Vacation Rental Decor. So you can find this there. All right, so this is in Michigan City, Indiana, and this is a really cute bungalow house. It's older, I can tell, has a lot of charming elements to it. This is on the water, or very close to the water of Lake Michigan. So it's a great location. They also have I think it's called the Dunes National Park nearby. Okay, so what I'm seeing are 2 images of this living room. And you know what? Actually, I'm not sure if this is exactly the same because the seating is different. In the left shot, there's a dark gray sofa and a dark gray matching love seat, and then on the right hand side it's a lighter gray sofa and 2 gray chairs. And it looks like the coffee table is the same, the rug is the same, the room is the same. So I'm not sure which one is the more updated version of this room, but that is something to fix online so the guests know really what they're getting. Okay, so yeah, the room is painted a kind of a cream color. It has this abstract gray and blue rug. There's a dark brown, it doesn't look like real wood, but I think it's meant to look like wood, a dark brown wood type coffee table. It's a smallish rectangular shape. The seating is all gray. I see the front door is painted a different color than the walls. I would change that so that they are the same color. Just next to the door is the TV on a TV stand. Okay, so let's just start right there with the TV stand. I think it is a little too small for the space. Also, it's in sort of a dated farmhouse style. So I'd get a wider TV, maybe in a slightly warmer and a light toned wood is what I would do. You have a nice big TV on top of it. I would just definitely make that TV stand wider and more updated. Next, let's look at the rug. The rug is nice and big. Good job for that. I think it could be a smidge bigger, but I think the size you have and its colors are fine for this nice little house. Let's move up to the walls. The art is rather high. It's hung a little too high on the walls. To be honest, I would probably take it down and put up drapery instead. So drapes that are mounted nice and high up to the ceiling and wider than the casing of the window. That will add some softness and color, and you won't need any generic art on the walls. Sometimes art can be hard to choose, so if you don't want to choose it, just go for drapery. Make sure that drapery is blackout drapes so that people can control the amount of light that comes in to the room. All right, and then I would switch your coffee table for a round one. There's a lot of angles going on in this room, all right angles and hard edges. So I would make your coffee table a round one, and I would get it a similar wood tone to your TV stand. I would also make the TV stand kind of go with your beautiful wood floors. So I would change out those wood tones to be all similar to the floor. All right, the next thing I want to address is the ceiling. Now, it looks to me like you have one of those drop-down ceilings. I would definitely take that off of there. Remove that drop-down ceiling. It looks kind of like an office space with that drop-down cork-type ceiling. If you have popcorn ceilings up underneath of that, above that drop-down, that is probably okay, actually, as long as you don't touch it. Just paint over it. Or you can have those popcorn ceilings removed. If your ceilings need to be repaired, that is well worth it. That will really update the look of your space here. Also on the ceiling there in this living room is kind of a dark wood, older style ceiling fan. Now, if you need a ceiling fan in here, I suggest a slimline in white. The reason being is that ceiling fans usually aren't beautiful to look at. And also, this one drops down, so it makes the room feel lower than the ceiling actually is. It makes it feel squattier and shorter. So changing that ceiling fan to white would just kind of make the fan blend in. It would be unobtrusive and it would still do the job. All right, next, let's talk about some decor for this living room. I would, since it's near the lake, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to find some decor that I was looking at. Okay, so here are some really cute pillows. They're of a lighthouse. There is the Michigan City Lighthouse nearby, and I think that, you know, if you had one pillow, you can save the other one. It looks like it comes in a set of two, and these are from Amazon, by the way. Comes in a set of two. I would use just one on your sofa. So it shows what looks like a lighthouse and a little red roofed house nearby, and it's right on the shore. It has some great clouds in the sky, beautiful blue water, and blue sky above the clouds. So it's a great picture. And what I would do if I were you is draw from the colors of this pillow in order to choose what else goes on decor-wise throughout your room. So you definitely could utilize that red of the roof on the little house. You know, so a red pillow or two, and make them nice and big. Make sure they're 24 inches by 24 inches square. Make them nice and large. You could also use that beautiful blue, which would tie in with your rug also. And I try to make them the exact colors that you see here. Don't go much more intense or lighter than what these colors show. And then definitely get a pretty throw blanket, maybe in that sandy color that you see on the beach there. That'd be beautiful. And then on top of your coffee table, whatever coffee table you get, I would suggest a decorative box that will hold your remote controls so that they're kind of out of sight. And I think that that will really dress up this room. It'll look really nice. You know, give some options, give some softness to the space. Oh, and here is another pillow. It's really fun. It has sailboats on it. I understand sailing is a big thing there at Lake Michigan. So you could have these sailboats. You could also draw the colors from these boats. There's kind of an aqua blue, a pale sky blue, yellow, red. So this could be an awesome starting point for your space as well. Okay, so that is the living room. Let's now talk about the bedroom. Okay, here is the bedroom of your space. All right, so first thing I see again is that ceiling. Go ahead and take that ceiling off, take it down. You will be really pleased, I'm sure, with what you find up there. It'll also have some beautiful molding and interesting period details that'll really make this space even more charming. Okay, so what I see here, there are two windows in the room and they are offset from each other. One on one wall, one on the other. Nothing is centered, including the bed. So what I would do is I would swivel your bed so it is diagonal in the corner. This looks to me like a queen or a full, and I would go ahead and keep it at least a queen in there. I don't think this is quite big enough for a king bed. So go ahead and angle it into the corner here. When you angle things into a corner, it actually makes the space look and feel bigger and more spacious. All right, I would take down this art and do similar to your living room, put up some nice drapery instead. Let's see, I would center the rug onto the floor. Don't have it anything off center like it's here. Go ahead and center it onto the floor under the bed as much as you can. Take down the art, and then I would go ahead and hang this mirror. There's a mirror in the corner near the bed as it is. So hang that hang that mirror on the wall. And then there's some smaller prints of flowers, and then you could put those hanging beside the art, one on top of the other. So you have a grouping of 3. So I'd be over here on this wall, 1, and then 2 and 3 over there on that wall. And yeah, swivel this bed so that the head of the bed is here and the bed will come out at an angle. And that's what I do in this room. And then similar for this room, I would find a fun pillow with some color in it and having to do with, sand dunes or Lake Michigan, and find some nice big decorative pillows to go behind it in the same colors, and then maybe a really sumptuous, beautiful throw blanket to drape at the end of the bed. And that will give you color and softness. And I think it's always nice to have a blanket at the end of the bed because it's practical. You can pull it up to give you an extra layer of warmth while you sleep. And of course, it's decorative and adds softness and interest to the room. Also in this room, we have another large, old-fashioned, dark ceiling fan. So I would just get rid of that altogether. Again, if you have to have a ceiling fan, make it white. Otherwise, get a nice light fixture that comes down, maybe a semi-flush mount that looks sort of like a chandelier, but it'll still give clearance for people to walk under it. So that's what I would definitely recommend for this room. It's a nice room. You have a wonderful place to work from. I hope that is helpful. I would say just lean into where you are there in Indiana, and build off of a couple of decorative inspiration pieces. Okay, let's look at the next house. Now, this place is in Pasadena, California. It came from Jill, who lives there. And I can tell this is a bigger house, and it looks wonderful. Okay, so some things I recommend. First of all, the orange walls. They're a little overwhelming. I think vivid color is great, but you need white walls because white gives a feeling of clean. And yet that's what guests want first and foremost. And then use this orange in a different way. Like in some pillows, maybe you could get a new rug with some vivid orange and blue in it. And that would be a lot of fun. This living room is big enough that you certainly can do that. So let me describe this room for people who are listening instead of watching this podcast. We have a large gray sectional sofa on the left-hand side, some big windows in the middle of the wall, and then on the other side of the room is a TV and 2 chairs. And the walls are painted kind of an intense pumpkin orange. So I would change out that wall color to white. I probably would also change the TV stand to maybe one that's darker wood to kind of go with your darker tones here. I also definitely would change out the coffee table because it's a glass top. Not only is that hard to keep clean, any little finger smudge will show up, but also because it will get broken someday, and broken glass is a liability for you. So I changed that out to maybe wood or metal, or even a nice resin one. Maybe you could find that on Amazon or at West Elm. And I'd probably make that table kind of a large round coffee table, again because in this room I see all angles, all right angles. It's very hard and angular. Looks like you're going to get hurt if you bump into something wrong. So go ahead and get a round coffee table in place of this glass rectangular one. All right, now Pasadena, I understand, is known for the Rose Bowl and the Rose Parade. So I'm going to try to share a couple of ideas for this room. I think you could make this room really fun with just some simple pillows from Amazon. Here's a football pillow, and let's see, try to get this one up here. And then this pillow is really pretty because I know that California is gorgeous. It has flowers and a lot of natural resources. So this pillow here is really lovely. It's kind of a floral, but it's a sophisticated floral. It has some modern elements to it, like with the striping. The colors are definitely modern. So if I were you, I think I'd pull out this stormy blue and maybe this dusty orange, and I would use that throughout your room with other pillows and maybe a couple of throw blankets as well. And keep it light, like the blanket could be a cream or off-white color. So those are my main recommendations. Oh, okay. One more thing is that the curtains here are too short. They are short and small. I would keep the curtain rod where it is. You have it hung a nice 8 inches or so above the casing of the window. However, if you want, you could even make that taller and make it look even grander. Get new curtains, make sure they're blackout so that people have a lot of privacy and can control the light. I like the color. They're a nice beige color. I would just get longer ones so that they reach all the way to the floor. And then here's kind of a trick that a lot of people don't know. These curtains here, they're all bunched together at the top, and you can tell they're really thin and there's not very much fabric there. If you want the look of perfect pleats though, in between each grommet on the back of the curtains, slip in a half of a toilet paper tube roll. So a toilet paper roll, a tube that's empty, cut it in half and put it behind each of those grommets there, and that will give you the look of perfect pleats. All right, good job. I think you have a lot of nice things to work with. Just some of the decorative elements can be improved a bit, so that's a good one. Okay, now we have, it looks like a main primary bedroom, also from Jill in Pasadena. It's very pretty. It has some lovely elements, beautiful nightstands, a large gray upholstered bed. It looks like a king bed to me. A beautiful rug. It's a really nice large rug, so good job on that, Jill. And some pretty lamps that have the blue of the rug. Okay, so here are some things I would recommend. This room looks long enough that you can put a bench at the end of the bed. I would get a nice dark one to go with the dark wood of your nightstands and make it kind of a skinny bench. But that'll be a nice place for people to sit down, put on their shoes, put their luggage. Instead of on your bed, you don't want luggage on the bed because people, they throw their greasy luggage on the bed that has traveled all over the world and it's been in some disgusting taxi, in the trunk of the taxi. So it's nice to provide an option that is not the bed so that you can keep your linens nicer longer. Now, similar to the other room in your house here, Jill, these curtains should be longer. Make them tall and long. Hang your rods higher up to the ceiling, and that'll make your room feel really grand and beautiful. Here's another tip. For this big window that's off to the side of your bed on that wall there, I would make sure that you get what's called sliding door curtains. They're twice as long as regular curtains, so that'll give you plenty of room for the curtains to actually close. Make them black out so that people can control the light and sleep in if they would like to. I love your plant here, your floor plant in the room. Your lamps are very pretty. It looks to me like they're glass. So you can go ahead and change those out at some point. If not now, then you know they're going to break at some point. So get something that is unbreakable, like wood or metal or resin. Okay, you have a chair in this room, and that print, that kind of a trellis design, is not so in style anymore. So I think I would cover that up with a beautiful cream colored throw blanket. I tried to choose a couple of items that I thought would go well in your room. Now, since it's known for the Rose Bowl and the Rose Parade, I found this really beautiful chiffon rose pillow. It's just on Amazon. I did use it a long time ago for a client, and everybody loves this pillow. It is very pretty, so I would look for that, and I would just make this bedroom really feminine and just lovely through and through. So you could use something like that, a rose pillow, and then maybe drape a blanket across the end of the bed. This is a block print blanket. It's meant to mimic those that you find in kantha quilts that are made in India. So a block print, and I would try to get blue and then this subtle mauve pink tone in it to go together with the blue of the rug. Definitely at the head of the bed you could put some blue pillows and maybe a nice bolster pillow or rectangular lumbar pillow that has the blue and pink and maybe some green in it to tie in the green of the plant that you have in the back. Okay, well Jill, this is a beautiful place. I'm glad you have it. I'm sure it does well for you, and hopefully with my suggestions it'll do even better. All right, so that concludes this podcast. Again, if you want me to assess and suggest some items for your space, you're welcome to do that. I will link the video version of this podcast in the description. I'll leave my contact info in case you'd like to talk to me about your place. I think I've done at least one other episode where I've assessed people's STRs, so I will leave a link for that in the description as well. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great day, a great week, and I look forward to talking to you again next time.